Okay, so let's continue to work with and learn function notation. Again, what I have over here is the 5 relationships we were working with, and here's the old way of saying something, and we're going to compare it to the new way and get a feel for what that looks like. So again, old school is I'd ask you to find y when x is 6. And if we were going there, right, it'd be like, well, which y does he want, right? I'm not really sure. Where do I plug in the 6? But if I asked it in this way, if I asked you to find r of 6, now I know exactly what to do. Of these 5 relationships, I'm talking about r, right? So we're over here, and the input is equal to 6. So I'm asking you to put 6 into r. So I've let x equal to 6 in that notation. So we're going to come to the relationship, and I'm going to replace the x with 6 because that's what I was asked to do. And doing the work, 6 plus 1 is 7, 6 minus 5 is 1, what we get is 7. So we're basically saying that r of 6 is equal to 7. So for the function r, if you put in a 6, the output's a 7. Or if we wanted to do an ordered pair on a graph, right, the input of 6 creates an output of 7. However you want to say that. So x is 6 when if x is 6, y is 7. So there's how we continue to use it. Next one, find y when x is 0. Again, that notation is very ambiguous. I don't know which one I want. Which one am I looking for? Where do I want to go? And so very different if I went and said, well, we want f of 0. So now what we're doing is of all these situations, right, we're going to the f function and I'm putting a 0 in for that, right? So x is equal to 0. So what's the output? I'll come over to the function. I'll replace that x with 0. 2/3 of 0 is 0, and so we get a -1. So functionally speaking, we're saying that f of 0 is -1. As an ordered pair, we're saying that. All right? Or you can literally just say it. When x is 0, y is -1. Okay? Changing things up. Look what happens in the next one. Right? Now what I'm asking you to do is to find x. So we actually don't know what the input is when y is 0. So now I know the output. So if the output is 0, what's the corresponding input for that situation? So again, if we use this notation, it's very hard because I have 5 different relationships. So do I want to put 0 here? Do I want to put it there? Do I want to put it here? Right? Where exactly do I want that 0 at? And so it gets a little bit hard to do. But if I asked you this, if I said that, you know one of 2 things. One, I now know that I'm using this relationship here. And then the second, we know that we're replacing the y with 0 in this relationship, right? We're replacing f of x. Let me kind of write the relationship. So I know I'm dealing with this relationship, and this f of x, we're going to replace it with 0 because that's what I was told to do, right? Let f of x equal to 0. Let y be 0. Remember, y is f of x now, all right? And so we now solve the equation. So add 1 to both sides. We essentially get 2/3 x equals 1. How about we multiply both sides by 3/2, right? And everything goes away, and we're left with x equals 3/2. So functionally speaking, we're saying f of 3/2 is equal to 0, or in a ordered pair, we're saying when x is 3/2, the output is going to be 0. So keep in mind the difference, right? When am I plugging in 0 into the function? It looks like this, right? The 0 is in the parentheses, indicating that it's going inside of f. As opposed to here, right? The 0 is not inside the parentheses. I'm actually letting y be 0. So huge difference between am I given the input or am I given the output, right? When you're given the input, you just evaluate. When you're given the output, you usually have something you need to solve. So let's see that one more time. So let's find x when y is equal to 2. So again, the old school way, I'd have to sit there and kind of, well, which one, right? Are we replacing it here, 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 here? The new school way is I'll say this. Okay, so that now tells us this. We are now focusing on this function here. right? So there's the function we're focusing on. And what I've told you is that the output is 2. So we're not letting x be 2, right? This 2 is not inside those parentheses. The output is 2. So to start this, we say 2 equals x plus 1 and x minus 5. So now we have to solve that equation. I believe the quickest way to solve it is to cross multiply, right? That would give us 2x minus 5 and x plus 1, distributing and then solving, right? Subtract x from both sides, add 10 to both sides, and I believe we get x equals to 11. So functionally, I'm saying that r of 11 is equal to 2, or in an ordered pair, I'm saying when x is 11, the corresponding output is 2. So be very careful. Am I giving you an output, or am I giving you an input? And again, the way you know is the difference is the number inside the parentheses. That's telling you it's being x is equal to that value and you're putting it into the function, or is it outside of the parentheses? And that's basically saying y is 0. So an output's given, find x, right? An output's given, find x. We'll obviously have to practice this a little bit more, but hopefully this gives you a really good start. See you in some future videos.